Children with life-threatening conditions oftentimes lose the ability to just be a kid. But the organization joining us today is out to change that scenario by giving those children and their families an adventure of a lifetime. A Kid Again is a nonprofit organization that can be found all over the country. Here with us today, representing the Michigan chapter, which I'm sure is the best, is the Executive Director, Amy Vining. Like the other state chapters, her chapter provides positive, family-shared experiences for kids with serious illnesses. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson. And Amy, we are so excited to have you here on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, tell us how you found out about A Kid Again.
I found out about A Kid Again about a year ago. They had done some soft marketing into the state of Michigan, looking as Michigan is one of the expansion markets across the nation, and then quickly realized we had 640 children who signed up for the program and they needed to hire a staff. So I saw the posting, and it's something that I always wanted to come to a nonprofit that does this type of work, and the rest is history. I was hired, and I've been here a full year now as of December 6th of last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what did you do before, broadly, that you think got you in a good position to be where you are now as the Executive Director?
Yeah, so I spent 14 years in the Flint community at United Way, and then I spent 3 years as Executive Director of the Red Cross.
Oh, wow.
Did a lot of humanitarian work, but really what got me here today was my youngest son.
Okay.
He was born with a condition called craniosynostosis. When he was 4 months old, he had to undergo cranial vault remodeling surgery, which was pretty intense. We were at U of M Hospital, and I just remember sitting in the ICU in the 5 days that we were there, and wanting at some level during my nonprofit career to give back to families who were undergoing similar circumstances. So that's what really brought me into the organization.
Oh, wow. The personal connection,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you realized a passion, too, for service. And you've been dedicated to service your whole life, it sounds like, but this is really a personal connection.
It is. It is.
So A Kid Again, there's a national network, and Michigan, of course, like I said, is probably the best chapter. Tell us a bit about the history of the Mission chapter. Has it been here a while, and how large is it? And just tell us what we need to know about it.
Yeah, so national office is in Columbus, Ohio. The organization was founded about 28 years ago. Michigan chapter just started upon my arrival, December 6th of 2021. We started with 648 families. We have now, as of today, grown to 1,121 families across the state. We do service the entire state. We also have been able to onboard 2 amazing staff members, Antoinette, who's in our development area, and Shauna in our program area.
That's quite an increase in 1 year. First, it's overwhelming and slightly anxiety-inducing to hear. On day one of my job, I was trying to serve over 600 families. Like, we were connecting.
By myself for 4 months.
Wow, you are a rock star. And now to hear that there's been such an increase, in the number of families that are involved, what do families receive from their interactions with A Kid Again?
Yeah, so this year we focused on 8 adventures that they had. 2 of them, the first 2 were done by our national office. They were called Adventure in a Box, where families could register to receive something in the mail. One of them was called, it was a Friday night magic show. So the kids received magic tricks in a box the week before. Then they were able to jump on a Zoom call with a magician and learn magic tricks.
Oh, how neat.
That was my first exposure with an adventure. And then our first in-person adventure was actually with the USPBL over at Jimmy John's Field. They hosted our families for the first in-person adventure as a chapter, where we had about 400 families attended a baseball game. We got 2 pavilions. We had a buffet-style meal. They got to go on the field and do activities with the players before, during, and after the game. So it was really special. And then our largest one was the Rides and Slides Adventure with Michigan's Adventure. Cedar Fair properties across the nation allow any of our chapters to come in for 1 day during the year and bring our families for free. They're an amazing partner. And they hosted 1,800 family members.
My gosh.
So we have 1,121 children. We have 5,200 family members that are a part of our program.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what did that mean for the families? As you think back of over those different adventures, what did you see?
Every single one is a little bit different.
Oh, sure.
But the first one, the one I'll never forget, is the mom she came across, we were out on the baseball field, and she just walks across and she's bawling and just wraps her arms around me and just said, "You have no idea what my family has went through."
Yeah.
And just this, I'm tearing up thinking about it.
Yeah, thanks, me too.
Just this gratefulness
Sure.
that you see is just
yeah.
amazing.
Well, and I'm sure, you describing and so generously sharing with us your own experience, thinking that there might be other people who can share in that in a way to uplift everyone, right? Like you don't have to explain to them what it's like to be going through something like that. And it sounds like they appreciated that release and being able to be part of something.
Yeah.
And forgetting
for sure.
even for just a little while, the large responsibilities that they might have. And so you say the whole family can get involved. So is that everybody?
It's the immediate family.
Okay.
So mom, dad, and then the unique thing about a Kid Again is we treat the siblings the same as the enrolled child.
Yeah.
So when you come to one of our adventures, unless there's an outward physical condition, you don't know the difference between a sibling and a child.
Yeah.
And the siblings need just as much support as the child going through the illness. They're going through a lot every day as well. We have a lot of families. I remember the birthday bash. We had one of our 3-year-old children has been in a 6-week program at the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. And the hospital, he's only able to go home on the weekends. The hospital released him the day of our adventure so that he could go outside of his program for the 3 hours and participate in our birthday bash, which was with the West Michigan Whitecaps. And for that moment, for him and his siblings and the parents, it just meant everything.
Sure.
He actually got to run around during third base. They clean the bases with a broom, so he actually got to do that with the players and was just grinning ear to ear during the entire time that he was out of the hospital.
What a wonderful opportunity, again, for the families and the children to again, feel like, okay, I can put this away for a minute and I can just enjoy myself. Well, we have to take a break already. Stay tuned. We know you're going to want to hear more from Amy Vining, who's going to talk about A Kid Again. Stay tuned.
Ready? Go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arch-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too.
Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and I'm here with Amy Vining, the Executive Director of the Michigan chapter of A Kid Again. Amy, it was wonderful hearing about your personal experience with it and all the great adventures that, are provided for the families and the children. And I'm imagining that's not cheap, and that it takes donations of time and money and all these things. So who supports you right now, and how do you get supported?
We have been very blessed with a lot of individuals, a lot of them on our board of directors, whose companies, not only them personally, but their companies have stepped up and give their treasure as much as their time to the organization. So right now we're a mighty staff of 3 who's managing these large-scale parties and adventures for our families, and we could have upwards of 2,000 individuals at one time coming. So we rely heavily on corporate volunteers and colleges. So last week we had our holiday adventure. Delta Dental brought an entire workforce for us and handled all the logistics of giving the families gifts and volunteering at registration and helping us through the evening, as well as Kearns Brothers and Applied Innovation, who have been amazing. But financial donations happen throughout the year. We started with an annual sponsorship program where companies can be listed on a t-shirt. So we like to give our kids swags when they come to our events to represent A Kid Again. So we give out t-shirts, and every year we have an annual sponsorship program where individuals or corporations can get on the back of our t-shirts. Those are given throughout the year, and then we also have a holiday toy drive this year. So each child, including the siblings, we did Squishmallows. Are the big thing.
Yes.
So we did a Squishmallow drive with a family game night. We feel it's very important to create experiences for our families, and we wanted to be able to create another experience that the families could take home and have together as a family. So we did games and Squishmallows.
And I love that idea you said, really trying to affect the whole family dynamic, and taking some of that pressure off of, probably the child that's experiencing the conditions and the needing the services, and then the siblings and, the dynamics that can happen there. It sounds like it's very carefully planned so that it gives, again, a little bit of lift for the whole family.
Yeah, we don't want the families to have to worry about anything when they come to an adventure. So from parking to the ticket to food, if it's a longer adventure where it's a day long, we just want them to show up and have fun, be able to be a family, take a time out from illness, and just be present with each other is what we try to achieve in our adventures. And I think this year we did a pretty good job of that. Next year we have some bigger adventures and already in the works and committed for the 2023 year.
And it sounds like there's so many different steps involved. I mean, these are elaborate events you're planning too, and I know we've got some pictures to look at. So we'll take a look at those and give our audience an idea of what occurs at Kid Again. So tell us who we're looking at here.
So this is one of our families who had attended our Rides and Slides adventure over at Michigan's Adventure in Muskegon. And this was as they came up to registration and put their shirts on, and they were ready to go into the park.
Oh, they got the swag. Everybody loves swag, right? Look at those smiles. They look really happy.
They do. They had an amazing time.
Oh, and there he is. I'm getting a high five.
Yep, this is another one. You'll see our Kid Again bag. So we gave families t-shirts and bags for this adventure that had some Michigan's Adventure specific items inside. So this is where they were able to see some of the characters from the park.
Oh yeah, how fun. I see the little backpack there. That's adorable.
Cute little high five.
Oh.
This is one of our sons and their father. This was at our West Michigan Whitecaps baseball game over in the Grand Rapids community. And this was actually our birthday bash.
Oh wow.
So they got to come in, enjoy the game. Every family member got a hot dog and drink, and then they also got birthday presents.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Again, the level of planning.
Wow. Oh, this was in 2021, so this was the week before I started last year. These princesses are actually MSU students who dress up as Disney princesses, and they actually attended our adventure again this year.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, they stand in front of the Christmas tree. This was at Potter Park Zoo, and they took pictures with our kids, and you can see there they're just enamored with Elsa.
Yes. Oh, isn't everyone? I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it's Elsa after all. What are the children's reactions? Like, I just can't imagine.
It's just a room of smiles.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
you know, that's how we gauge our adventures now, is just as soon as families walk in and there's this sense of relief, the sense of non-judgment, the sense of they can just be together as a family. They're starting, now that we're a full year into our chapter and we've had 4 in-person adventures,
Okay.
the families are now starting to create relationships with each other. So now when they come to the adventures, the kids are connecting, the parents are connecting, the siblings are connecting, and it's just really cool to see.
And I imagine you probably were able to learn from some of the other chapters throughout the United States. Is there a sharing that goes on with the national network?
Absolutely. We have amazing chapters and amazing executive directors that are out there. There are 7 staff chapters, 3 in Ohio. Then we have Indiana as a full chapter, the Carolinas are a chapter, and then we have our MAC chapter that's up in the Philadelphia area. We have more chapters. We do have children enrolled across the nation in every single state. So as enrollment continues, you'll start seeing more chapters come online with staff that will be able to manage that state.
Wow, it sounds like it's just spreading, and what a good thing to spread, right? And,
Yeah,
and share the
absolutely.
news of.
Yeah.
Well, and I know we're going to take a break in a minute, but I want to make sure when we come back that we can talk a bit about how a family can get involved with this. If maybe they either have a child that is going through an illness and needing support, or maybe they want to volunteer and get involved and help with it. Because I have a feeling you probably need those too, right?
We absolutely do, yes.
Okay, so there's the cliffhanger there. When we come back, you'll hear more from Amy Vining and seeing how maybe you can get involved with a kid again. Stay tuned.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and again, we're here in the studio with Executive Director Amy Vining of the Michigan chapter for A Kid Again. And we talked about the wonderful organization and all the great adventures you provide and the other things that you set up for families and children. if someone's watching right now and they want to get involved, maybe because they have a child that could benefit from the services, they all could benefit, what do they do? How do they get in touch with you?
So it's very simple to register, and actually the registration for Michigan is the same as across the nation.
Okay.
So if anybody has a relative in another state, they can go through the same process.
Oh, cool.
They go to akidagain.org.
Okay.
There's a button in the top right-hand corner that's enroll, and they just click on that link and start the enrollment process. It's a easy form that they fill out. Not a lot of documentation needs submitted. We have some auto-qualifying conditions that qualify a child to get into our program. There's about 300, so we are condition agnostic, where very many conditions can get into the Akid program. But to enroll, a child has to be under the age of 20 and diagnosed with one of those conditions, a life-threatening condition.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I imagine there's also people watching who are like, I had no idea this existed, and I want to be part of it. I either want to volunteer, donate, just do something. How can people watching get involved?
We need volunteers, we need financial donors, we need individuals to just help us continue this mission. The more we grow and the more the word gets out by amazing individuals. Here at Madonna University, we need help. So to do that, people can go to akidagain.org. There's a donate button. You can select the Michigan chapter, whatever chapter you'd like to donate to. To get a hold of the Michigan chapter directly, you can email michigan@akidagain.org.
Okay.
And that will go to our team.
And I know you've got annual events. Like, what are some of the events you think you'll do, like, pretty much every year that people like, oh, well, hey, I might want to be involved with that?
Yeah, so every year we'll always have rides and slides at Michigan's Adventure.
Okay.
Next year, our families don't know this yet, so it's going to be June 19th. So now they will. We also have our first adventure that we just launched yesterday is going to be our Hoops for Hope adventure with the Detroit Pistons. That is on 313, so March 13th. So we'll be with them. We're going to go back to USPBL at Jimmy John's Field. And next year, we're really excited. We have a new partnership with the Henry Ford.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the Henry Ford is inviting us in to have our holiday party. So that will be in November.
Oh, wonderful events to get involved in so many ways. And as you mentioned, if you're a person who likes to give out swag, or if you want to be a greeter, it sounds like there's all different ways.
Yeah, and we also need help from, if there's any, we have an intern from Central Michigan University coming on, so we'll take internships. We need social media help. We have a professional photographers that come. So whatever your passion is, we can link it to our organization in some manner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you see for the future of the Michigan chapter, or what do you hope?
Continued growth. You know, we have just blossomed so much in the last year, and we have some pretty amazing adventures. You know, we always say as a team, we're one meeting away from doubling in size. It's just being in the right place at the right time and having families really hear about us. So the more we grow, the more support we're going to need. So I really envision us just continuing to grow and doubling in size in the next 2 or 3 years.
Wow, doubling, so that's 2,000?
Yeah, well, we did 1,000 in about a year, so that's about, our goal for the end of December 2023 is 1,800.
Okay, and I know you're all about making wishes come true. If we could make a wish come true, the TV audience, what would your wish be for the org? Do you have is there like an adventure you're just like really wanting, or something that you're like, I really need this?
What I wish for is that every child, every family across the state has an opportunity to be a kid again and be a part of our program in some manner.
Yeah. And what has working with this organization meant for you personally?
It's indescribable. It's joy all the time. We nonstop are party planners and doing everything possible to give experiences to our families where they can just be a family. And we've really started building some really deep relationships with our families, and it's very nice to see.
And you've been so adaptable. You know, we were talking about at the beginning the boxes, you know, and this idea like, oh, we can send it home. Like, it's not just taking the kids out, you know, and the family out, but we can send things home to them. And I know you mentioned that came out of COVID. So sometimes out of things that are challenging, great things can come too.
Yeah, and I mean, we're working with already an immune compromised and vulnerable population. So out of the pandemic, you know, national really geared their adventures, in-person adventures, towards Adventures in a Box, and that's what all chapters did for a while. But I'm also a big STEM component and promoter, and so we also have STEM programming in the Michigan chapter where we do virtual game nights. We have kids that are just, because of their condition, will never be able to attend an adventure. So we want to create opportunities where they can attend from their home. So we had podcasting classes coming up. We did a virtual game design class, and that is through a partnership with the Loyalty Foundation.
Oh, wow. And I think it just makes it so much more inclusive, again, because you mentioned it might be the child that can't leave. It might be the parents that, you know, might have a challenge and can't leave. But again, bringing that right into the home. I'm so pleased that we were able to have you here. What about you? Like, when you think about, gosh, okay, if I had one idea that I'd like to bring forth from this audience, let's make a wish. What do you want? What do you want from them?
Oh, what would be a wish? Besides having every child across the state, we also have families in the UP.
Yeah.
They want summer adventures, camping adventures. We get a lot of Mackinac Island, somewhere up north area, somewhere that our families could go in the summertime, where it would be 2,000 plus individuals that would be able to be in one location together.
Okay, it's out there in the universe now.
It's going to happen.
Amy, thank you so much for sharing everything about your organization with us today. And the time goes by so fast. We've reached the end of our show, but it was so amazing to hear about all these great things happening from a kid again. We also appreciate you joining us and celebrating the great things that are happening in the Mitten State. Aren't you proud? We'll see you next time.